Okay, this will be the last part, but I gotta go through this quick because there's a lot of them. I got still a stack of them right over here. So, yeah. Here's another one. This is a horror film that I think it has a lot of heart. I think this movie is very sweet. I know it's not really like the most horrifying movie ever. I don't really like the ending. I think the ending is kind of like a little bit mean. But what's here, I do think is very strong. And that is The Howling 3, The Marsupials. Yes, it's different from the first two films, but I liked it. I do like the Australian cast in this. I thought that the woman, that the lead actress, was good for what she had to do. I thought the visual effects are really good. The baby, the baby that she has, I think is very cute. The love story does work. I know Mike OCP Communication says that he likes the love story. I think it does work. It's very solid. And I like the movie. The commentary, I didn't mind it. For an Australian film, I could have seen a lot more boring films. And it's definitely better than Howling 4 and Howling 7, which is horrible, horrible, horrible. I hate Howling 7. This is way better. Enough said. This next sequel is a very fun Christmas movie. I see this every year when I can. It makes me laugh all the time. I think these two guys have amazing chemistry, and that is Friday After Next. Very fun sequel. I do prefer this over Next Friday. I like Mike Epps and Ice Cube. I think they're very funny together. The movie made me laugh a lot. I think Katie Olbert is beautiful. I love watching her. You know, the sound of her voice. I love black women. What can I say? I think they're gorgeous for the most part. This movie doesn't let up. It has some cool action sequences for a comedy that says a lot. The laughs are there. I like the cast. I think they're very, very fun to watch. It's a good Christmas movie. It makes me feel good during the holidays, and I'm glad I have this in my DVD collection. It's a fun sequel. Next are two sequels that don't get the recognition they deserve, and I think that they're worthy sequels to the first one. They're not better, but they're still fun movies anyway. And that is Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3. I love Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3. 2 was in 2015, and I think it looks awesome. The visual effects still work. It's a worthy sequel to the first film. The first time I saw it, I admit that it was very, very confusing, but I saw it again, and I had more fun with it. It definitely is a sequel, a bunch of sequels that grew on me, and I do like Part 3 as well. I know the Western, environment didn't do anything for a lot of people, but I think it works. It makes it different. It doesn't remake the first film, and it's a solid conclusion to the franchise. It's not like Alien 3 that they kill off Doc. It's not like Doc and Marty die at the end of 3. That would have made it depressing. But these sequels, Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3, are fun. I like them for what they are, and I love the first movie. I think it's a classic, and the two sequels are fun. Okay, now we have a sequel that it is a sequel because it takes place after the first one, but it's a standalone sequel, and I know a lot of people shit on this movie, but I think it has one of the most satisfying endings I've ever seen, and that is Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday. This is a very worthy sequel. I saw this on DVD like a couple years ago, and the gore is absolutely fantastic. The Jason spirit that goes into people is an interesting idea. It's something different. When Jason's there, he kicks ass in the beginning and at the very end, and the kills are fantastic in this movie. I don't mind the lead guy, John D. LeMay. I think he's really good. Carrie Keegan, she's decent. I don't mind her. I think she's all right. She's nice to look at. Erin Gray, I think she's beautiful in this movie for being much older. And the score is pretty cool. The film has some atmosphere. It's not as bad as people say. I actually I don't mind the black bounty hunter that goes after Jason. The ending is fantastic when Freddy's glove drags his mask into the ground, and then you set up Freddy versus Jason, which worked. We waited 10 years, but it was worth it. This movie's fun. I don't think it deserves to get shit on. It's gonna be better than the next film that comes out. If it becomes found footage, it's not gonna be as good as this. I know it. So here's another sequel that I really enjoy. I really like this sequel. That's Tremors 2 Aftershocks. I like this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. I like Fred Ward in this movie. I like Helen Shaver. She's pretty fun to watch. Christopher Gatton, or Garton, I don't mind him. I said Gatton, is Garton. He was not Kevin Bacon, but he was a decent, substitute. Um, I like Michael Gross. He's just so over the top in these movies, and I like the way the creatures look. The graboids still look really good. There's some CGI, but it still looks better than some of the CG today. Um, the graboids are really fun to watch. Them eating people. It's PG-13, but it does what it needs to do. And I like Tremors too. I think it's a worthy sequel to the first film. Okay, now we have another sequel. I saw this in the theater and I had a ball. I know that some people disregard this film, but I think it kicks ass. The large cast did not bother me. I've seen a lot worse, and that is Scream 4. I think this is very underrated. I mean, the only thing the big thing that kind of bothered me was the reveal of the villain who Ghostface was. But other than that, I think the kills are pretty cool. It's still R-rated. It still has a big body count. I like the new cast members in this movie, like Hayden Panettiere. I love Neve Campbell in this role. I think she fits this role like a hand in glove. Marley Shelton, I love seeing her as the deputy. I think she's a deputy. She's beautiful. I've always liked her. I like that they brought the cast back, like David Arquette and Courtney Cox. I'm glad they didn't kill them off. It has a fast pace. It's long. It's 111 minutes, but I was never bored. To be honest, I really wasn't that bored with this movie. It could have been 2 hours and I would have seen this. I had fun in the theater watching this. A lot of people were laughing their asses off. I like the ending. I think it's very strong. Sydney just kicks Emma Roberts' ass, and her line at the end was breathtaking when she says, "One thing about remakes, never fuck with the original." I love that line. And also when she goes clear and she shocks her head, that is just awesome. Yeah, that's right. Never fuck with the original. I love the original, and I like this sequel too, and I don't mind 2 and 3 as well, which I need to get sometime. Here's another sequel. It gets laughed at. It gets made fun of. This deserves a better DVD. I think it's a really fun movie. And I like the cast that's here, and I like that this guy came back for the sequel, and that is Escape from L.A. Snake is back. This sequel kicks ass. I have no problems with this sequel. I know it's not as good as Escape from New York. I never thought it would be, but considering how long this took to get made, but it got made, and I had fun with this. I saw this on cable years ago. I think it's really, really fun. It's very fast-paced for 100 minutes. It goes by quick. The villain is kind of cartoonish, but he does what he can. It says that it's in 2013, and that was this year. So this movie happened this year. That's pretty cool. I do like Kurt Russell kicks ass as Snake Plissken in this movie. I didn't mind Stacy Keach and Steve Buscemi, Peter Fonda. He's always good to see. Cliff Robertson, may he rest in peace. I like him. I think what's her face is in this movie. Michelle Forbes. I think she's a really solid actress. She's from California with Brad Pitt, and I thought she was good in that. She's good here when she's there. Fun sequel. It deserved better. It didn't deserve the flop. I think this movie's a lot of fun. Okay, now here's another sequel that gets shit on. No, it's not better than the first film. I still prefer it a little bit over Part 2. I think Part 2's funny, but Chris Tucker gets on my nerves. I don't know what it is. It's just he grades on my nerves with his, his voice. And oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm like, oh my god. But I can handle him in these films with a commentary. Anyway, Jackie Chan is the reason to watch this, and that is Rush Hour 3. Jackie Chan, although he's not as fast as in the first 2 films, I still like this movie. The France location didn't bother me. I did laugh in this film more than in Part 2. 2 was fun. But my problem with 2 was that I didn't like the girl in it. Rosalind Sanchez, she was just underused, and I didn't care for her in that. I don't mind the French girl here. I think she's beautiful. I'm glad this got a 2 disc. It's very underrated. I know it's a very expensive movie. They could have cut down on the budget a little bit. I've seen better sequels. I know Live Free or Die Hard is better than this, but I don't mind the sequel. I think it's fun. It's entertaining. I was laughing when the laughs were there. And I do like this movie. I don't think it's that terrible. I've seen Cop Out, and that's much worse than this. Cop Out was so bad that I can't watch it a second time. This I can, though. Okay, I just saw the first one of this one. Again, the commentary wasn't much, but this sequel I do like. I wish it had a commentary as well, and that is Black Scorpion 2. Fun sequel. Not as good as the first one, but still a lot of fun. Joan Severance is still very sexy in the sequel. I still think that the action when it's there is cool. I do like the two villains in the movie. I didn't care for Laura Harring. She could have been cut from the film. It's very fast paced. I do like what's his face in this movie? The black guy, Garrett Morris. He's a lot of fun in this and in the first film. The visual effects still work. It's a fun sequel. Seductive and beautiful, but lethal, yes. And Joan Severance, I really enjoy you in these films. I'm glad you did a sequel, and I'm glad that you really, you're still acting. You rock. I love this movie. I really enjoy this movie, and it was a worthy sequel to the first film. Okay, let me go through these fast. I'm gonna show these at the same time because they both get a bad rap, and I don't know why. Because I've seen worse. Lethal Weapon 3 and Lethal Weapon 4. I think these go hand in hand. This is a better sequel, but I like this too. I think it's decent and it does end on a high note. This one I think is it gets a bad rap. Oh, Joe Pesci has white hair. Didn't bother me. Oh, the villain's not as strong as the first two. It didn't bother me. Oh, it's a 90s film. It didn't bother me. And I love Renee Russo in this movie. She kicks ass, and that's such a turn on for me. I don't know what it is, just with those tight jeans and kicking, and she's awesome in this movie. I really enjoyed Lethal Weapon 3. The action's really good. It's still fun, and it definitely deserves better on DVD. I mean, it says it's a director's cut, but it's just deleted scenes put back in. I like this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. It's worthy, and it's a fun movie. This one is still decent, despite the fact that it has a lot of cast members in it. It still ends on a high note. I like the action when it's there. I like Jet Li. Yeah, you didn't need Chris Rock. He's kind of forgettable in the film, and Renee Russo could have done more. But despite the fact that it's not perfect, it's still fun. And Mel Gibson wasn't crazy back then in 1998 compared to now. Now he's fat and he just makes a lot of bad decisions. But here he was cool. Okay, here's a sequel that I think is one of the best of the sequels. Curse of Chucky Can Kiss My Ass. I don't ever want to see it. I don't want to buy it. I don't need it. And that's all I can say on that. But this is Child's Play 2. Deserves a better DVD. It's a very fun sequel. It's got cool one-liners. Brad Dourif rocks as Chucky's voice. The kills are really interesting. I like that Andy came back. Alex Vincent, he really is good in this movie. Jenny Agutter, she's there. I didn't mind the girl character that was in this movie that takes care of Andy. I think she's really solid. The toy factory scene at the end was kick-ass. And I love one of Chucky's lines when he says, "I'm gonna kill you, Andy!" I'm like, holy shit. That was intense, man. This is a good sequel. I really, really like this movie. I think the first film is a classic. This one's a worthy sequel. I like part 3. I still haven't seen Bride of or Seed of. And Curse of Can Kiss My Ass. This one's better than Curse of, and this was made in 1990. And the visuals still look good. Chucky rocks in this film. And now we have another sequel that this got crapped on. This is a guilty pleasure. I love the film's location. I think it's a lot of fun. It didn't bore me to tears. It's very fast paced. It's stupid, but I know what it is. It is what it is, and that's Jason X. Yeah, I do like this film. I don't know what it is. It's just got a charm that it was fun to watch. The visual effects I think look pretty cool. Kane Hodder, this is his last time as Jason, and he makes it count. Some of the kills are really cool. I love that it takes place in the future. I think Jason looks pretty cool in this movie. Yeah, the Cyber Jason, Uber Jason doesn't do much at the end. He does look cool though. I do like the cyborg. I think the cyborg chick that's in the movie, she's so sexy. The actress did a really fine job. I don't mind the actors in the film when they count. It's not perfect. I know it isn't. It's not as good as the first film or part 6 or part 7 or parts 2 and 3, but I still think that it's fun. It's definitely better than 8, which I don't mind, and it's definitely better than part 5. But Jason X, not the worst thing I've ever seen, and it was a decent warm up for the Freddy vs. Jason, which I think is vastly superior. But I like this movie. And finally, this is the last sequel I could think of that I own. that I think is very underrated. The first film I love to death, but I love the sequel too. I miss Macaulay Culkin. I hope he recovers, like I said before, because I like him in these movies, and that is Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Yes, I love this sequel. It's very underrated. The critics trashed on this film, saying, oh, it's exactly like the first film. Yeah, but it's still a fun movie. It does its own thing. It takes place in New York City, which I love because, I live there. And these two are great in it. Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. They still got funny moments. The traps are much better in this one than the first film. Kevin, played by Macaulay Culkin, is still top notch. Still love John Williams' score to death. I think it's one of the best scores ever. This deserves a better DVD. I think it's very underrated. It's much better than parts 3 and 4 and 5, even though I don't mind 5. This is a really good Home Alone movie. I see it every year, and it's definitely worth your time. So those are all the sequels that I feel are underrated. I'll probably do another version of this where there's underrated sequels that have recently come out, like Red 2. I said that, but there's others too. And I will talk to you guys later. See ya.